Hey everybody, Keith here with PartsCounterGuru.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this box. Okay, just kidding. What's in the box? This is the LaCie Rugged BOSS SSD. This is an on-set or on-location collaborative tool, in short. It lets you take all your photos and all your videos off a particular media device or a card or camera, drone, and put them on this drive. So we brought this thing to try out ourselves to try and solve a problem, and now I'm just checking to see if you're still paying attention. Specifically around being able to pull media from multiple devices, several people's cell phones, several people's cameras, stuff like that, and get them all into one location so we could edit them. All right, so keep watching everybody. By the time the bumper's over, I'll have it out of the box. I hope. Alright, so you can see here on the box, LaCie's telling you, hey, we've got a high-performance SSD inside. That's to copy the files to, copy your photo and video images to. They've got a status screen. I'm real curious about that. The power bank, it's 5,300 milliamp hours, which is what I mentioned earlier. It's got the SD card reader. There is a LaCie BOSS app. We'll check that out and report on it here in a couple minutes. And then it's also capable of reading from SD and micro SD cards, USB card readers, which is kind of a cool thing, meaning you can plug a USB card reader right into this sucker. We're going to push that to the limits, see what we can do. And then external hard drives and SSDs, as well as drones and digital cameras. All right, so here's the actual drive unit itself. This thing is very big as compared to your traditional 2.5-inch portable external hard drives. This is quite a bit thicker, as you can see there. If there is a status screen on this thing, it's hidden from first glances there. So we'll dig into that a little bit more, and then I can see we've got our port access hidden here. So let's see, we've got what looks like a micro USB, USB-C, USB 3, this is a power port, and this one that I skipped over is the SD card reader. And I realize I've actually got it upside down, sorry about that. But that's what that side looks like. All right, so after a little bit further unpacking, you can see here we actually get 3 device connection cables that come with it. That's the lightning cable. This is for USB-C, and then this one is micro USB. And they also give you a micro SD adapter, so you can plug in, like if you have like I know the DJI drones use that kind of a card versus the full-size SD card. You can go with a micro SD, plug it in here, and then plug that into the slot over here. So nice that they've kind of got all your bases covered there for most of the modern devices. Some of the older tablets still use the micro USB. All the modern stuff now is going to USB-C, and then of course if you've got a little bit of an older Apple device or an iPad, there's your lightning connector. Alright, so step 1 in the directions, LaCie says to search for the LaCie BOSS app, not Rugged BOSS, but LaCie BOSS. And for me, I'm on an Android device here. It was the first result, so I'm going to go ahead and install that. We'll see how it goes, but step 1 was go get the app. All right, so we got the app installed, and I wanted to test this out in the wild. So what we're going to do here is I just took the SD card out of my camera, put it right into the LaCie drive, and push the little button there. Turns on the drive. Boom. It's going to say, do you want to copy this card? And you just push the button and cross your fingers. And I say that because I was a little nervous without having any sort of true display of what was on the card and what was going on in the background, and just kind of wanted to, you know, hope for the best here until I could plug this drive back in and see for sure that it worked.
So it did in fact work, and I will also mention that I shot in both RAW and JPEG, and it copied both formats. You can see what it did there quickly was it scanned the card to see what was on it. Now it's giving me a progress bar right there, and it does continually flash the battery status as well, which is nice because if you're getting close to an empty battery, you want to know that. And then here at the end, it's going to tell me that the copy process was complete. At that point, I can go ahead and fire up that app that we just installed and look and see what's on the drive. So you just push the only button again, and there you go, we're done. So yeah, and again, I verified it through my computer. This drive also has the capability to make multiple backups to other drives, which is a nice feature. It will back itself up. Now, one thing that I did not have good experience with was this card adapter. You can see here, and I'm sorry for the camera being a little bit out of focus. I was trying to hold the camera and do the card at the same time. But that adapter came with this LaCie drive. And the actual card there, I believe, is out of a GoPro, and it just was not happy. It did not like that adapter being used with that micro SD card. So, and it sat here, I think, and scanned and searched for a little while. Ultimately, what I had to do was to use a card reader adapter for that micro card, and then it worked. So I didn't change anything on the card, but I just used a different kind of adapter to read it, and it worked fine. And when I talk about a different kind of card adapter, what I'm talking about is an actual USB adapter that you can plug camera cards into. So I plugged a USB card reader adapter into this drive, and then I plugged the camera card into that adapter. Now here you see I've got a GoPro Hero 8, and I plugged it directly into the drive, and it found it, but it's doing some weird stuff here. I never got this to work directly. You can see I'm going over to the GoPro, and it's showing me that there's a USB source connected, but the LaCie drive itself, it kept choking. So here again, it's like it's trying to search the GoPro, but it never came up with a source of any images or movies being found. And it does copy movies, by the way, but in this case, I just couldn't get it to work by a direct connection to a GoPro. This is the card reader that I referenced earlier. This is a USB 3 camera card reader. Now, it works with multiple different kinds of camera cards. It does work with the GoPro card. You'll see that I've got it plugged in here in a second. And it also works with SD cards and CF cards. And so it supports multiple different kinds of camera cards. And on the LaCie box, on the packaging, it does say that it works with card readers. So I found that to be the case. You can see here I plugged that card reader directly in and turned the drive on, and it immediately found it and asked me if I wanted to copy. And you can see there the lights flashing. We've got a good copy process. I did verify the copy at the end by plugging that hard drive into my computer and visually looking at the videos that I pulled over. And it worked just fine. It did a good job. That is probably my preferred way to pull things over. Either that or directly in that SD slot if it is an actual SD card. So some closing thoughts on this, guys. I like it. I like it a little bit better than my old one, which we haven't talked about to this point, but basically it was a menu-driven version with an interchangeable hard drive that was a spinner on the inside. So that's one of the major differences that I like better. And you could replace the battery on this. That was a big positive of this guy over the new one. But that said, I do like the solid state factor in this one. I also like the smartphone app and the connectability that this drive gives you with all the different options to connect to a tablet or a smartphone. That's a really nice feature, and it gives you very granular control over the photos and movies that you're putting on this. I'm not super thrilled about the single button operation. It's a little bit clunky, and to be honest with you, sometimes we just try to make things too simple, and that results in them taking longer than they should. I can accomplish a lot more tasks
more quickly on a device like this that has a lot of different buttons than I can on this single button device. But that's a small price to pay. If I had to start today from nothing and had nothing in terms of either one of these, I would probably go in this direction. And the number one reason I would go in this direction over the older model is this has a solid state drive in it. And if you're going to travel at all with this, that's a lot more durable, and there's a lot less of a risk of data loss on a solid state drive than there is on the spinners, on the old spinning hard drives.
The last thing I wanted to show you here is a disk speed test. Now, I've got my old spinning hard drive on the left there. It's got a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive in it. And then this is the LaCie solid state drive on the right. And the read and write speeds are, I'm really happy with them. You can see there it's over 400 megabytes per second, and that's considerably faster than the older USB 3 connection I've got on the left. Now, keep in mind that the LaCie drive on the right is USB-C, so it's natively going to be faster. And then I'll just give you a still shot here in closing of those speed tests so you can see for yourself how they apply.
Thanks for watching, guys. If this video was at all helpful to you, make sure to give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that it's okay to show this video to other people, and that helps us out in the long run. Tell a friend, hit that subscribe button. We've got a podcast. We've got a lot of other helpful videos and articles. You can find those and all their links on our website at partscounterguru.com. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.